political. There was the Iowa caucuses, which is like retard caucus. Because it's Mitt Romney's got to go around crowing about a win. He beat the guy by 8 votes.
Yeah, not 8%, 8 votes.
But like I said, the Iowa caucus is like, what it is they got a bunch of those evangelicals in Iowa.
Yeah, it's very Christian.
Yeah. So that means for wacky voting, like where anyone can win. It's like, well, they had these debates. Every week during the debates, there was a different front runner. For a while, it was Herman Cain. It was
Rick Santorum came out of the box. Michelle Bachmann came out of the box on top. And as soon as they got to know them, boom, they're out.
Like whack job candidates who really would have been out of the race, period. But because of these debates, they go every week, they talk, it helps them sell books. That's what the debates were about for a lot of these people. I don't think Newt Gingrich expects to be president. He wants to sell books and have some lobbying power.
But then you become the front runner. You say, well, maybe I should be running for president.
Yeah, well, that's what happened to Herman Cain. He was like, oh, shit, I was trying to sell a book, and now they made me the front runner. Now everyone's looking into all these chicks I was with. It really screwed him up. Excuse me.
Whoa,
that was very unprofessional. I need to resign. I'm ashamed. So,
but the guy who was 8 votes behind was Rick Santorum, who hasn't made a wrinkle, a blip on anybody's radar until now.
Once they get out of Iowa, the real, like the real Republicans, not the evangelicals.
It's a real primary in New Hampshire.
And then Mitt Romney will be the front runner, and that'll be the end of it. He just has to go through an embarrassing, I don't know, couple of days of Rick Santorum crowing about his big win in Iowa. You know that last time around in Iowa, Governor Huckabee.
He was number one.
He was number one in Iowa. Iowa's it's like the wacky caucus that really doesn't even matter.
But it's fun. You know, it's a fun way to kick off an election. See what the lunatic fringe is thinking.
Well, Rick Santorum, you know, like all of a sudden he was nobody. So you go, hey, maybe he's a decent candidate. Then you start looking into it. He was a senator from Pennsylvania for 2 terms. He went for his 3rd term win, and they threw him out of there with an 18 percentage point loss in Pennsylvania. Because, you know, he's one of these guys who ends up making a lot of gaffes and a lot of weird statements. And then the weirdest thing is this: the reason the Christian types up there in Iowa love him is because his wife, no matter what, will never get an abortion. Like, he's so anti-abortion that I guess they've got like 7 kids, because why not? Just keep pumping out kids. Because they're Christian.
The world needs more of you.
They need more Santorums. So I guess let's see, they had one pregnancy fairly recently where she was pregnant, and the doctor told them that the baby had some rare genetic disorder that would cause her possibly to die. And she goes, no.
I have to have
it doesn't even matter if I'm going to die. Well, you know, a rational person would go, well, wait, I already have 6 kids. I can't die because I got to take care of them.
And this one has a genetic disorder.
And it's going to... So then they say, I was reading the account in the paper, her fever spiked to something like 105 degrees, or, you know, I don't know if I have this whole story right, but this is the gist. Her fever spiked. They didn't know what they were going to do. They have to operate and get this thing out of her. No, I don't care. I have to go to term with this baby. And then they're like, baby, there's no, you know, this thing's not going to live, and it's going to kill you. No. Now, you think this is rational?
This is who you want in the White House.
You know, there was a terrible tragedy recently where a woman's children were burned to death, and her husband, because they told the kids said, listen, Mommy and Daddy, take the fireplace, take the fire out of the fireplace because Santa will burn. Instead, you say to your kid, listen, Santa has a fireproof suit. He goes to all the homes with
He knows how to do this.
He's an expert at it. You make up a bullshit. No.
If he's coming down the chimney and going all over the world, he's magical.
What they did was they took all the embers, put them in a plastic bag. It was a windy night, and it burned down the whole fucking house.
Wow.
So, and it's a terrible tragedy. Don't get me wrong, but for Christ's sakes, tell your Santa isn't real. So tell the kids Santa has a way of getting in the house without burning up. You don't have to do everything. The kids are complaining that the Santa's going to burn up in the fireplace.
How'd he get in all those other years?
Right. You say to them, kids, how do you think he got in every year? We know what we're doing here.
But this is the wackiness of people. Like, the kids have this little consideration, and the parents are too dumb to figure out how to handle it.
Well, Rick Santorum, yeah, and by the way, it's a terrible tragedy. I feel awful for the family. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just make a bonehead move, and then the next thing you know, you're fucked.
Well,
so.
I hate to pull the wool back, but that probably wasn't their first bonehead move.
Maybe. I don't know. I wasn't there. But I feel bad anyway. But because a bunch of kids died.
Yeah.
Anyway, this Rick Santorum, so the wife is in the hospital. She's burning up 105 degrees. You could die. No. I'm against abortion. Now, this is a case where it would be just fine for you to have it. No one would hold it against you. You're about to die. The baby's not going to make it to term. If by some fluky miracle of God the baby made it to term, it would live a 1 hour life where it would be in constant pain. You know, at some point, use rational. See, this is why this guy Rick Santorum can't be the president. It would be the end of all society. It would be the end of any rational thought. These people who get hooked on their religion are so fucking vehemently staunch that they can't even say. The guy should say to his wife, honey, you matter to me. I don't want you to die. We already have 6 children. You got 105 fever.
You're cooking the baby.
This doesn't make any sense. No. So I guess the story goes that she, of course, gave birth prematurely. The baby, of course, was born dead or dies an hour later. Or I don't know. I don't know all that. I don't follow Rick Santorum, but it was one of these wacky stories where she actually put her life at risk. And then I guess they decided to have another pregnancy, because I guess they don't use birth control, which is another great thing, because everyone should just walk around not having birth control. We're completely overpopulated on this planet. I don't know if you've read the newspaper, except for where Jules' family lives in Alaska.
If you want to go there,
if you want to live in Alaska, we still have about 3 lots available. But everywhere else, we're completely overpopulated. We're overrun in the world with unwanted children. No one's taking care of them. No one's paying for them. They're growing up to be thugs, some of them. Some of them beat the odds and grow up to be wonderful people. But it's very rare when you have no parenting whatsoever, you grow up with any kind of fiber or moral background. You're fucked. You're fucked. But that's all right. Why worry about that? We'll just find a few Mother Teresas to stop in and feed them once in a while. Because that's all kids need. So, so then the story goes, she gets knocked up again. Santorum's wife, I don't know her name, Kathy or something. Karen? Right. What are you giving me? I can't read. I'm on the air.
No, I'm going to tell you what it is. So this is from the New York Times. This explains what they did with the baby after the baby died.
Right. Rick and Karen Santorum would not let the morgue take the corpse of their newborn. They slept that night in the hospital with the lifeless baby between them. The next day, they took him home. Your siblings could not have been more excited about you, Karen writes in the book. Right. So okay, this is the way they grieve. I'm not going to sit there and comment on that. But I'm showing you the logic of religious zealots. It's like society be damned, common sense, throw it out the window, let the mother die, the mother of 6 children, because God is going to be offended. So then she gets pregnant again. I'm reading this story. I'm like, you got to be kidding. The doctor tells him that the child has a rare genetic disorder. Another one. Something where it would be born into horrible pain and a life of misery, no consciousness, What do they say? No abortion.
There we go again.
No abortion. There's no way we're going to do that to this beautiful... I understand the kid lived, which was against all odds. The kid is like 3 years old, but I think there's very serious medical problems. Now, let me explain to you what that life is like. For those of you who are not religious zealots, when these kids, I'm talking about severe genetic disorders, it's a life of pain and misery. You understand? A pain you would never even comprehend. You couldn't comprehend this pain. It would be, I mean, I don't know this particular case, but I do know about birth defects and severe birth defects. Look at me. Doctor, when I was born, said to my mother, he's happy like a mongoloid. So I know something about this. You know the doctor said that about me? You
smile like a retard.
He smiled like a retard is what the doctor essentially said. That's what he told my mother. My parents were offended, I think. They say they were. But listen to me. I'm being serious. This is a serious thing. When you make a decision for a human being to be born into a life of pain, I'm not talking about Down syndrome. I'm talking about like way past Down syndrome. You're basically sentencing that being to being a pain source, like literally just being somebody on fire. And this is who this guy is. Now, I don't know about his politics. I know he's a right-wing guy, and he's not one of these guys. Don't pay any taxes. Let me break the news to you. You got to pay taxes. We're in a society that functions as an infrastructure. We've got a military. You're going to have to pay taxes. Should there be less government waste? Of course. But there's government waste. That's another thing you factor in. Do you ever waste money?
Of course.
Oh, you did? Okay. Well, there you go. The government wastes money. That's another factor. Do I want it to be running out of control? No. Do I want to punish people who are businessmen? No. But you are going to have to pay taxes. And you know what? This is a pretty great country. We got freedoms like we can't believe. So.
Oh, you're coming over to my side now.
I was never against your side. I said, I'm not for no. These people who are dreaming that they're going to pay no taxes and there should be no government, like a Ron Paul. That guy's a complete fucking freak. There's no military, no this and that. They're dreaming. We are the #1 superpower. We are the cops of the world. Yeah. Do I agree with him that we should be less of a role as cops in the world? Yes. Should we have a president who invades Iraq because he feels like it? Of course we shouldn't. But there are certain realities. You like getting in your car and driving on a highway. Guess what? You got to maintain that. Weather conditions crack the highways. We love a beautiful highway. We love beautiful buildings. We love infrastructure. We love our internet. We love everything. And some of that stuff has to be regulated by government. And it's not always fair and it's not always done well, but you're going to have to... these guys who carry on like lunatics, like Ron Paul, I mean, he's on the fringe. And these wackos in Iowa, they're giving him his day. And the same with the Santorum character.
Well, one of the things he has said is that a homeland security issue is making sure sodomites and homosexuals cannot marry each other.
Well, immediately, should he have gotten 20-some-odd% of the vote after you make a statement like that? I believe Santorum's another guy, I think, who's got problems with gay people.
That's Santorum I'm talking about.
Oh, that's it. I thought it was Ron Paul.
No,
Two of them
that's
should lock up. So, I mean, listen, these are fringe guys. There's a reason they threw him out in Pennsylvania in his third term for 18%. That's a massive fuck you. What do you think's going on?
Santorum even believes that they found the weapons of mass destruction in Iraq.
He believes that. It's been proven there's no weapons of mass destruction. He believes this. Is that what it says?
Yeah.
I mean, he's wackier than I thought. But Romney's the best. He's got to go around bragging about his win.
And you know how much money he paid for that win?
Well, I believe that Romney will actually get the nomination that you'll see in the next set of, when we have people who are not Iowans, who are not evangelicals, they will sit down and give some sort of rational thought to this whole process. Listen, those debates are great for selling books. That's why you got so many candidates. You say to yourself, why is Michelle Bachmann still in it, or a Rick Perry? Listen, they're into the pageantry of it. Why do some people like being in beauty pageants? It's just fun, and you sell books. Newt Gingrich, he's a businessman. He's in showbiz. He's like a carnival barker. He knows he's not going to win, but it's fun. And even he probably in his private moments is sitting there going, "Oh, fucking wacky Iowans! They were actually considering me for a few minutes here." And for a while, the Republicans had me at the top of because he's crazy. I'm trying to sell books. What are they doing? Oh, it's crazy. But there you have it. So Rick Santorum, who is a senator from Pennsylvania, former senator from Pennsylvania, is all excited today. And who knows, maybe he'll have more babies. Because he's already got 7, I think. And why not keep going? Why stop at that? Then it'll be fantastic. No birth control. Let's have more. Why stop at 7? It's silly. We need more babies. And even if it risks the mother's life, you got to have that baby. Even if they tell you the baby isn't going to be born alive, you still got to have that baby.
Even if it'll kill you.